What's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good, man. So pumped that you can join us today. Really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, man. I'm happy to be on. I appreciate the invite.
Absolutely, brother. Well, it's funny. It's not just gonna be you and me. She is absolute, like she is the fight of the show. I mentioned it over and over again. Husband with Grant Dawson. We're gonna Elle Dawson just jumped in. We're gonna invite Elle to the show.
I'm
Elle,
Grant
what's up?
Dawson's husband. Hey, what's up? What's up,
Dawson's
Nate?
wife.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
I've been
you
on
too.
for an hour and a half, Elle. I need you. I need you.
I'll let
Awesome.
Grant know
Nate,
that
all
he
right,
is
let's
now
get
my wife.
I love it. I love it. Let's get into it, my man. June 15th, Jimmy Flick. Jimmy had a really good run at the beginning of the UFC, kind of retired early. Now he's kind of back. A couple fights didn't go really his way lately. But what do you think about Jimmy and this fight on June 15th at the Apex?
Man, I got a lot of respect for Jimmy. I think he's a really tough guy. He's obviously hard to get out of there. Malcolm Gordon was putting it on him. And he kind of gets rocked every fight, and he finds a way to still get those submissions. So he's a different guy to try to figure out. And I'm gonna have to be really smart with my burst, and not go for the kill every single time you hurt him. So I got to go in there and fight smart. It's gonna be a good one.
I love that. I love that. Elle, you can have the next one. With just watching maybe UFC St. Louis. They were just back in Brazil. They're going to be in New Jersey for UFC 302. Are you a little bit bummed? Are you 1% bummed you're not at a city, at a, Charlotte, at Atlanta, or Tampa? They're coming in July, we hear. Are you a little bit upset that you're not at a city card?
Oh, 100%, man. This will be my 7th UFC fight, all at the Apex. I don't really feel like I've gotten the experience yet. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And they're coming to my state the week before, June 8th. They're coming to Louisville. I'm from Henderson, Kentucky. I train here. I live here. I don't know, man. I'd have loved to have been on that one.
Wow. Elle?
Yeah, no, that's super tough. I definitely always want to hear fighters' take on this. In your opinion, like, do you like fighting in the Apex? Obviously, you're tired of it. Your entire career with the UFC has been in the Apex, but do you like it being a little bit quieter? I know a lot of fighters they like that they can hear their cornerman. What is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I know it affects some guys. It kind of feels like a sparring match or something like that. But I've never had a problem in there. I am a routine guy, so I do like being familiar with the facility and the same old going into fight week. Yeah, I don't really have a problem with it. I just like to get the real UFC experience with a big crowd.
Absolutely.
I love that. Just this past month, UFC 301, we saw the UFC Flyweight Championship main event of pay-per-view. That's got to feel good for a flyweight yourself. What did you think of Pantoja, another title defense? He is the cream of the crop. What did you think of Usyk kind of being pushed to that spot? To me, as someone watching it from afar, you got to feel good. It feels like, hey, 2-3 wins away, you might get a title shot if the timing works and the finishes happen, all that nature. What did you think of Pantoja and Usyk?
Yeah, man. Usyk came in. I think he was 3-0, but he had gotten a couple of knockouts. I feel like I'm a pretty good striker, and I got a lot of power. 35 coming down to 25. Definitely. 2 more wins here. You're right in the conversation, and I appreciate Pantoja. For taking on all newcomers. Not just big names. He's wanting to be active and fight new guys. I think the division's wide open.
How was that move down to flyweight for you? Do you feel like it was a difficult adjustment, or are you finding your stride there?
Man, this has been one of the best weight cuts I've ever had in my entire career. I'm ahead of schedule right now, which is funny because I used to have a hard time, making 135. But I think I've just in my older years and, the experience, I'm not as food crazy as I used to be, how fighters can be. But 125 forces me to do things, that are a little harder to go and run the extra miles, late at night, to get up early and do the extra work. So I appreciate that. And I think it's a good thing for me. It makes sure that I'm in shape.
I love that. I love hearing that. Dude, this is a great comment / question for you, Nate. It's crazy that they were thinking about getting rid of the division a couple years ago. It come such a long way. Man, the flyweights, right? Pantoja, you had Brandon, you had Figgy there for a while. You have a big fight at UFC 304 in Cap and Mokaev. You got yourself. There's a ton of flyweight. Usyk is still there. Like, I know he lost. That man is still there. He showed me a lot, at least. Isn't it crazy that the UFC was maybe thinking about the flyweights being gone 4 or 5 years ago?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. And I'd be lying to you if I told you it wasn't still somewhere in the back of my head. You just never really know what, yeah, I mean, really is. You just never know what guys are thinking. You don't know what Dana's thinking. You don't know what Endeavor and all the guys up top are thinking. It was something that they've thought about before, so it's in the back of my head. But I think we're in a good spot right now, especially some of the young guys that you mentioned, Makayev, Tagir, Olenbekov. Brandon Royal's still a young guy. There's a lot of young guys in the division, honestly. So yeah, man, I just want to go out there and put on big fights, put people away, show that the smaller guys can get finishes and knockouts, and I don't think we'll have to worry about it if we continue to do that.
In my opinion, the best Ultimate Fighter season of all time was the flyweight tournament, like hands down.
Cool.
Yeah,
and a lot of those
one.
guys are still in the UFC and still doing really well. And it's crazy to think that that was so long ago, and we still have guys like Tim Elliott and Kai Kara France and Moreno who are all on that season.
Yeah, definitely, man. And Tim Elliott's a fight that I would really like. I appreciate his style. He's all over the place, man. He's hard to read. Even if you watch film, I don't think you know what Tim Elliott's going to do.
Tim Elliott doesn't even know what Tim Elliott's going to do.
I can believe that.
He's an interesting cat. I actually trained with him for a long time in Kansas City. He's a good dude.
Nice. I can believe that. He's a pretty cool guy. Yeah, for sure.
He's very unique. Absolutely. He's not a guy that like a whole lot of people tend to call for. I think because of he's just kind of an awkward style, and he's kind of like been sitting in like the lower part of the rankings for a while. It's interesting to hear you call him out. Is it just the style that excites you?
Yeah, I think so. And even at 135, I always wanted the chance to fight Dominic Cruz because he was somebody that had that kind of awkward style. It's fun to try to figure out these guys. So I think that's where it comes from.
That's awesome. And it's so funny in the comments, the same question. It's the flyweight division was shunned on for so long. And now like the Brandon and Figgy main evented a couple pay-per-views. Pantoja had a big fight in the International Fight Week as the co-main event against Morano when he won the title. They just main evented UFC Brazil like on a big pay-per-view. It's wild. Like UFC, I think at least is putting in the effort of like, hey, let's get you, big limelight spots. Everyone was talking about Usyk and Pantoja after that. So I think the UFC is putting in the time and the work for the flyweights.
Yeah, man, it's hard to disagree with you there. And I think that's especially with like Davison Figueiredo, he was getting a lot of finishes. Moreno gets a lot of finishes. I think that's where it comes from. I think there's a stigma out there that maybe we can't finish fights or we don't hit hard enough. But man, most of us get back up, to 45, 150. I mean, we're the same size as some of these 35s. We hit just as hard, and we can put on a show.
I got one more than if you want to jump in. I got a couple fun ones at the end. I would love your take. It's kind of been a thread here in Fight Maness for a long time about Demetrius Johnson's legacy. And I would love to hear from you, flyweight, kind of, you went to a bantamweight, all that stuff. I know some Demetrius goes up and down for one a little bit. But what's your take on Demetrius Johnson, his legacy? Some people think he's the greatest mixed martial artist ever, especially pound for pound. They put him up there. What's your take on Demetrius and legacy and GOAT status and all that nature?
Man, I'm not positive that he couldn't come back and still, do his thing, to be honest with you. I know from a competitive standpoint, I probably shouldn't say that. But he looks as good as ever, especially he's getting older and things like that. But, man, you definitely couldn't say he wouldn't be a top 5, I don't think. So I think that speaks for itself. I know back in the day, he would have been a really tough outing for all of us. So I think that speaks for itself. Skill for skill, man, he's got to be in the top 2 or 3. If he was a bigger guy, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Right.
He'd be the guy.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And it's like, that's the asterisk, is that he's not bigger. He is he's even small for a lot of flyweights, I think. But what are your thoughts on what he said following Pantoja's last main event? He called out the flyweights, saying that the UFC should stop putting flyweights as main events, which was kind of surprising to see because in his UFC days, he was complaining about not getting to be on these bigger cards and being more of a superstar. Where's your take on that? Yeah,
I didn't hear that. I'm not sure what to think about that. I don't know if that's coming from, I wouldn't want to call him jealous or anything like that because he didn't get those, main event spots. That's surprising to hear, honestly. I thought he'd have been a little bit more behind us. I don't guess I really have any thoughts on it. It's kind of surprising to me. Hopefully we don't get too much of that and he kind of builds us up.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know if maybe it was a knock on Pantoja specifically during the pot. Maybe, a lot of guys outside of the UFC who like will kind of flirt with the idea of going back to the UFC, whether or not they decide to do that, which that's a fight I know I would love to see if that.
I was just going to say that Demetrius Johnson versus Pantoja is a pay-per-view main event. That's insane. That's a big fight. That's a big
Who would you guys take in that?
I gotta go with my boy. I gotta go with Pantoja.
There you go, man.
I just think he's so well rounded. He's one of those guys like he literally fights tired the same as he fights not tired, which is so like you can see that he's visibly more fatigued, but he still fights the same fight, you know? Yeah. I just Demetrius is so elite though. I would love to see those grappling exchanges.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd like to see it. I hope it happens. I hope he does come back. That's interesting.
That'd be cool.
The only flyweight I got beat in Pantoja is my guy Mayhem Nate. You know what I mean? That's
there you go. I like it. I like it.
All right, man. Five fun questions. First thing comes to your head. Just some fun stuff. You ready?
Yep.
Who's your favorite UFC fighter to watch?
Back in the day, it was George St. Pierre. He's my favorite. Then it was TJ Dillashaw. Right now, I think right now it would probably be Sean O'Malley.
Ooh, okay. Respect that. Do you have a hidden talent or a skill?
Hidden talent or skill? I used to be a pretty good basketball player. I was getting ready to go play college ball, and I decided to do this.
Wow.
Nate, all right. I'm pausing the show. Just me and you are talking. I'm a basketball guy. I almost played college ball too. Well, yeah. So I would assume you're a point guard?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Ooh, you had handles?
Yeah. I just stopped growing at 5'10", so it kind of hurt me a little bit. Right.
So you played 4 years, like you played high school ball, high level, all that stuff?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Let's go, Nate, man. Okay. We gotta link up, man. I'm a Florida guy. We got to link up somewhere in the middle and shoot some hoops. We'll tape it. I like it. I'm a huge basketball guy.
Definitely. We'll definitely do that.
I will film.
Love it. There you go, Al. There you go. There you go, Grant's wife. What is your biggest fear?
Biggest fear? I think failure, especially with fighting. You know, it's not about getting hurt or injuries or anything like that. It's just that feeling of failure and letting everybody down. You know, you just want to be successful.
For sure. I always hear from fighters, especially in a fight, they always say, what I always hear is that they're afraid of getting tired. Like that's like the worst feel, is just feeling dead in there. Is that true?
Yeah, I think so, man. But honestly, my mindset, you can beat me to death for, 14 minutes and 50 seconds. As long as I come out with the win in those last 10, I'm cool with it.
Okay. I like that. This is always a good one. If you had to go out to dinner with two guests, dead or alive, who are those two people you eating with?
I think one would be George St. Pierre and LeBron James. I think those would be two guys to learn, just how they take care of their body, and they're real meticulous about that kind of thing. So I think that'd be interesting.
Nate's my guy, man. I'm a fan of Nate. Big fan. All right, last one, my man. Maybe the most important question. June 15th versus Jimmy Flick. What is the exact fight result?
Man, he's gonna try to take me down. Of course, I don't think he has the wrestling to do so. He's going to be chasing his submissions, but like I said in the beginning, he gets rocked every fight. I feel like I bring a lot of power to 125. I think I'm going to put him away and secure that fourth bonus and put me in an arena after.
Let's go.
Get my man Nate some money.
UFC. No more Apex.
I love it.
There you go. I like it.
Nate, you're the man. Any last thing, anything you want to shout out, fans, loved ones, sponsors, anything like that, my man, the floor is yours.
Yeah, man. God first, obviously. I couldn't be doing this without him. Pat Wilson, Raw Sports Management Group, Tag MMA, Nice Guy Submission. I got my sponsor list here. Make sure I don't forget nobody. Being in Construction, Team Lynn, Expressway Ford, Fisher Total Maintenance, Max Custom Completions, Lux Motors, Talkaholics, Black Label Custom Firearms, Spartan Production, Thor's Dumpster Rentals, Stonebridge Sports Insurance. I appreciate all you guys for supporting my training camp and helping me do this full time. And thank you guys for having me on.
Awesome. Course, Nate, you're the man, brother. Let's talk soon. All right, let's talk after your win.
Yep, I appreciate you guys.
All right, brother. There we go. Nate Maness on the show.